Did you listen to it?
الرحمن الرحيم في قال والتي تعيد على ابتداء الوضوء وقوله قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا وضوء إلا بنفسه والمراد به نفي الفضيلة والأهم ما حيث الإرشاد ويسمى في ذلك والصحيح قال والاختلاف بأنه رواية
So وتسمية الله تعالى في ابتداء الوضوء نه. Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. So far we discussed the farais of wudu. We discussed washing the face, washing the arms, washing the feet or the ankles. We discussed making masa. Then the next thing we discussed was what the face is in Shariat. Then we discussed, so those were the farais. Then after that we started discussing the sunan. And then the first sunnah we discussed was sunan al-taharat, is to wash your hands before you start with your taharat. And then we also discussed in detail that this is more relevant to where you are going to harvest your water out of a utensil. We discussed that. And then we said, even if a person today takes it out, inshallah, from a tap, whatever, and he has the intention of sunnah, he will still get that reward, inshallah. So we were discussing, so that was the first sunnah. Then with the next sunnah we're going to discuss here, inshallah, is, okay, وَتَسْمِيَةُ اللَّهِ ibtida al-wudu'i. That is to take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the beginning of your wudu. So you got the watasmiyatul fi ibtida al-wudu'i. Right. Right. So the next one that my kitab don't have the fee. We must bring it al kitab inshallah. Watasmiyatullah ta'ala fi ibtida al-wudu'i. To take the name of Allah ta'ala in the beginning of your wudu. Say Bismillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And what is the proof? لقوله عليه السلام لا وضوء لمن لم يسمي. That wudu, there's no wudu for the person who does not take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no wudu for the person who does not take the name of Allah ta'ala. So this shows you uh, that if you want the full reward, if you want the full reward of the wudu, you have to take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You with me? So this is making nafi. It is making nafi of kamal. What we think is not nafi of wujud. It still takes place, but not in a complete manner. Right? So, وَالْمُرَادُ بِهِ نَفْيُ الْفَضِيلَةِ. That the intended thing here is that you are negating the virtue. So it doesn't mean that if you don't take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wudu doesn't take place at all. But rather what it means is you won't have the complete reward. But carry on. Yeah, interesting. والأصح أنها مستحبة وإن سماها في الكتاب سنة. I mentioned to you before that Quduri Sharif, remember I told you Hidaayah is made up of Quduri's Ibarat. And here, Sahib Hidaayah is quoting Quduri's Ibarat. وَتَسْمِيَةُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي ابْتِدَاءِ الْوُضُوءِ, right? وَتَسْمِيَةُ اللَّهِ فِي ابْتِدَاءِ الْوُضُوءِ. So here, Sahib Hidaayah is commenting on Sahib Quduri's Ibarat. Are you with me? Sahib Hidaayah is commenting on Quduri's Ibarat. So what he's saying is, look here, even though Quduri, Sahib Quduri said it is sunnat, but wal aslahu annaha mustahabbatun. The more preferred view is it is not sunnat, it is mustahab. Now, sunnat is the most, although we say, the validity of something does not depend on a sunnat, but it is a very emphasized thing, lot of reward, then slightly less than that is mustahab. Also, you get a great rate of reward, but if you leave it out, there will be no sin. So, an easy way to understand the difference between a mustahab and a sunnat, which first you get awla. Awla means is preferable. Mustahab, as the word suggests, istahabu is something which is beloved. Then the next you get sunnat, that is proven from the sunnat. And you get sunnat mu'akkada, more emphasized. then you get wajib, and then you get farz. So now, yeah, Sahib Hidayah, he's making tanqeed, or he's not agreeing with the text he quoted from Kuduri. Are you with me? You sure? You see, what asahhu, the preferred thing is annaha mustahabbatun. It is not as strong as sunnat. It is a bit lower category. It means it is good. You will get a lot of reward with it, etc. وَإِن سَمَّهَا فِي الْكِتَابِ سُنَّةً. Even though Sahib Kuduri has mentioned sunnah, but I don't agree with him here. I say it is mustahab. Are you with me? Right. Carry on, read the next ibarat. Istinja'i. Right. So, so from among the sunnahs also, سمى يسمي ويسمي قبل الاستنجاء وبعده هو الصحيح. And then also what you will do is, what you take the name of Allah Ta'ala before making istinja, and after that as well. So normally what happens is this, look here, a person, normally you go to the bathroom, you relieve yourself before you make wudu so that you are comfortable, etc. So before you go to the toilet, you take the name of Allah Ta'ala. Istinja means like, although istinja literally means to clean you, to cleanse yourself, but what is meant by this here is what? That you cleanse before you go to the toilet to relieve yourself or to cleanse yourself, etc., etc. Then you also take the name of Allah Ta'ala. So what they're saying here is that if you look at the text of Hidaayah Sharif, it seems that you must only take the name of Allah Ta'ala before making wudu. But actually, it's sunnat also to make to take the name of Allah Ta'ala. Yeah, before. I told you istinja basically means before to visit. You can't take the name of Allah Ta'ala in the toilet. You can't take the name of Allah Ta'ala in the toilet. It is not correct to take the name of Allah Ta'ala in the toilet. So before you enter, so you also take the name of Allah Ta'ala. So here he's saying that if you even take the name of Allah Ta'ala before you go to istinja, inshallah, and after that you don't take the name of Allah Ta'ala, you also get the reward, inshallah. Right? Read the next text.
لأنه عليه السلام فعل كذلك.
Okay, so now another important sunnah, very important sunnah is mentioned here. Was siwaku. Siwak means to cleanse your teeth with the miswak, right? لأنه عليه السلام كان يواظب عليه, because Nabi Sam used to do it continuously. Right. Now remember I told you just, I mentioned to you earlier that you get sunnat and you get sunnat muakkada. Sunnat muakkada means that thing that Nabi Sam really left it out. He should do it continuously. So leaving it out was the exception, and to do it was the norm. So this shows you that this was a sunnah that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam practiced upon all the time. It was a sunnah he practiced upon all the time. He really left it out. He really left it. لأنه عليه السلام كان يواظب عليهم. So the more Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam practiced upon something, the more emphasize it come out, and the more it is frowned upon if you leave it out. Are you with me? There's a hadith that says, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لولا أن أشك على أمتي لأمرتم بالسواك عند كل صلاة. وفي حديث زهير على أمتي لأمرتم بالسواك عند كل وضوء. هذا رواية قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لولا أن أشك على أمتي لأمرتم بالسواك مع كل وضوء. Interesting thing here is a difference between us and the Shawafi. We say that miswak is a sunnah of wudu. So once you make wudu and you made your miswak, then after that, you don't have even though you made wudu already, but if you're standing up to pray, you can make miswak again, you get the reward of sunnah. So we say no, the hadith is in right, ma'a wudu'i kulli salati. That is what the meaning is. And another reason, although there's a detailed discussion, you'll do this inshallah when you come to fiqh in it, in your hadith books. Another reason is also this. We say that look here, according to the Hanafi madhab, we'll do this. The flowing of blood, it nullifies the wuzu. So sometimes some people, especially the ladies, etc., they have sensitive gums. So if you're gonna tell them you have to make miswak just before the wudu, just before the salah, what's gonna happen? That means blood is gonna flow from there, and so that's an interesting thing also there. We say it is a sunnat of wudu, is a sunnat of taharat. The Shawafi say it is a sunnat of now, these discussions here, to be honest with you, we are touching so briefly on it. We're passing this discussion in 1 minute and 2 minutes. But if you go to the mutawwalat, if you go to the big hadith books, the shuruhat, like discussions now, because the main thing we want to do is we want to just understand the masla. So for the Hanafi madhab, the actual sunnah. So we're not saying you can't make sunnah if maybe you made wudu and especially if your gums don't bleed, you can you can make miswak again. But the actual sunnah that we say is mentioned in this hadith here refers to what? At the time of wudu. Right? Are you with me? And I tell you all the hadith, see the all those hadiths I mentioned to you, which is our proof. And then okay, carry on. يعالج وإن فضل يعالج بالإصبع. Right. So, وَإِنَّ فَقْدِهِ, at the time of his loss, that when you don't have access to a miswak, يُعَالِجُ بِالْإِصْبَعِ, he will cleanse his mouth, he will, right, he will rub it, right, with his finger, because Nabi Sallam done the same. So sometimes maybe you're traveling and you don't have access, you forgot your miswak, whatever, so you can take your finger and just clean if there's any big pieces of dirt, etc., etc. So also it comes in some of the kutub and the mutawwalat. Sometimes the ladies also, their gums are sensitive, etc. So if they're gonna make a miswak, their teeth the gums are gonna bleed, etc. So this could also be applicable to them, that they can use their fingers to clean. And in some kitabs also, it's mentioned in some of the kitabs that if you don't have a miswak, you can even take a cloth and you can cleanse your teeth. Now, just while we this, I just want to detract a little bit. Some people say that look, they make the statement. They say, look, in the time of the Prophet, the miswak was the means of cleansing, right? And today we got more advanced means of cleansing. So today, you don't have to use a miswak if you use a toothbrush. So, as I told you, these are detailed discussions. We say there's two things. One is the sunnat of cleansing the mouth, and one is the sunnat of using a miswak. So if somebody only suffices with on toothbrush and toothpaste, what your firsatul if somebody suffices with a toothbrush, we say, okay, inshallah, you will get the reward of practicing on the sunnah of cleansing your mouth, but you won't get the reward of practicing on the sunnah of miswak. So if you want to get both rewards, inshallah, you want to get both rewards, then use if you like, because nowadays, because of the foods we eat, the foods there's so much more fake ingredients, colorants, tartarazine. So maybe in the meantime, maybe if we suffice with the miswak before we sleep, we won't feel satisfied. So you want to make the miswak. So what to make the miswak? I'm sorry, you want to use a toothbrush. So use a toothbrush. فرصات الأسنان معجون استعملها لكن بعده تستاق أيضا. After that you also make miswak. Understood? So don't confuse the two sunnat. And the point I want to emphasize is that the toothbrush and the ma'jun al-asnan, paste of the teeth, it will not replace the miswak. Like, you, inshallah, when we go through the hadith books, and we discuss all the time that it's sunnat and mustahab, etc., to use a miswak, like, before sleeping, before jima, every relation, husband-wife relationship, all that type of thing. So don't think you can replace that with the teeth, inshallah, with the if you want the full reward, then you have to use the miswak. So as I said, if you don't feel satisfied, you don't feel comfortable without the toothbrush, do it inshallah. Then after you do that, you use the miswak as well, right? So first thing is, as you said, you will now thoroughly cleanse. As I said, if in other kitabs, they got more details with regards to the size of the miswak. They say from if you keep your hand like this, from this finger till here, it should be the size of the thickness of your finger. And when you're cleansing, you should go sideways. You shouldn't go up. Even even if you go to the dentist, if you brush upwards, you push the cuticle of your gums up. You should brush breathwise, etc., or a downward motion. Otherwise, especially as you get older, when you have we say shrinking or retracting gum line, subhanallah. So that's what Nabi Sallallahu taught us so many years ago, right? Anyway, carry on. Right. So remember we said what? Bismillah, istinja, wash hands, Bismillah, wash hands, Bismillah. Then you're gonna make miswak. Then the next thing is wal mouth inshaku. Now mother means to gargle your mouth. And ishak means to cleanse your nose. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فعله مع المواظبة. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also done this continuously. So here we see also that to cleanse the mouth thoroughly, here there is a lesson for those people, for who the people who what the people who smoke. You see that you must come to the masjid. You must come with a good smell. You mustn't have any bad smells in your mouth, like as a result of the smoking and all that type of thing. You must be fresh. You must be clean. Innal malaikata yata'azza minhu ma yata'azza al-insan. The malaika, they also inconvenience from that which human beings are inconvenienced. So now you come to the masjid, your mouth is stinking like cigarettes, nicotine, savannas. Remember when we were in madrasa, there was one boy was smoking, and when he heard this hadith, إن الملائكة يتأذى منهما يتأذى من الإنسان. The moment he hears the hadith, after smoking for several years, he never took another cigarette in his life. He never took another cigarette in his life. So this shows you that, from this, that you must be clean, smart. You shouldn't be shabby. Even if you are it comes in the hadith also, that even you have, like, it's strong smelling foods, etc., etc., then you should thoroughly cleanse your mouth before you go, because the malaika also inconvenience. Right. So, interesting thing here is also there's a lot of discussion. I told you in the hadith books. How should you wash your mouth and nose? Like some ulama say, take one scoop of water, put little in the mouth, little in the nose. Then you take then the same one, take little mouth, nose. There's about 20 different scenarios. First, take one hand of water from the same thing 3 times in your mouth. Or take another handful of water, put 3 times in the nose. But the best, and I'll give you the reasoning, is wash the mouth 3 times with 3 separate waters. Wash the nose 3 times with 3 separate waters. This is more in keeping with the usul. Why? Because the mouth is a separate limb. The nose is a separate limb. If it's a separate limb, it must have separate waters. Isn't you wash one time 3 times the sunnah? You wash your arm 3 times. Isn't you take fresh water for each arm? So the same. So if I ask you exams, which is in the Hanafi madhab, which is the most preferred method of making gargling your mouth and nose without even remembering? You just apply your mind. Look here, mouth is a separate limb, nose is a separate limb. That means each one must have its separate water. And like all your other limbs, besides your massa, obviously, your arms, your face, your feet, you wash each 3 times. That means you must wash 3 times. So that effectively means you take the water 3 times you put it in your mouth, and you take it to all the corners of your mouth, thoroughly cleanse it. This is also important if a person needs a faraz ghusl. Remember, if you need a faraz ghusl, like how your whole body must be covered, every single hair must get wet, yeah, every portion of your mouth also. Like, if you just take the water and you gargle the back of your throat in it, what happens to between the teeth and the cheek and etc. etc. So you have to be thorough to sure that water reaches all. Although the ulama explain now Ramadan is coming, that if you need a faraz ghusl of Ramadan, you shouldn't make mubalagha to such an extent that you put your fast at jeopardy. But you'll also take the water to the back and it must go. And then also now when you take water into your nose also, you take in your left hand. Remember, left hand you will take and then you will lightly pull the water. If you touch your nose like this here, see where the bone touches. Feel here, you see the soft part, and then you get the bone. So you have to wash up until where the bone is. And this is also important. So if you don't wash up until where the bone is, then in the Hanafi madhab, your ghusl is incomplete. And if your ghusl is incomplete, that would effectively mean that your salah is not valid, etc. So these are important. Like I told you, the whole of your mouth, till the back of your throat, doesn't go down your throat, under your tongue, in between your teeth, and then when you so do your nose also, till the soft part there, right? If you don't, so you put in your left hand and you snuff it up until the soft part. And if you can also take maybe the small finger, and the tongue, and you just push it in, and you remove if any dirt or any dirt particles there, it can also be removed, right? Read the next about. Yeah, remember, what is this? Mother, you middle. It is what? How many original letters there? Four. Meme, va. This is ruba'i mujarrad. So وكيفيتهما, the method of making مضمضة is أي مضمضة ثلاث. Say مضمضة يمضمض. So أي مضمضة, that he will gargle ثلاث 3 times. يأخذ, right, I told you. يأخذ لكل مرة ماء جديدا. He will take for every time fresh water. Then he will do the same. He cleanses the method كذلك. Right, the same thing. Carry on. Yeah. هو المحكي من وضوئه صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is narrated from the wudu of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that he washed each one separately 3 times. Now remember again, these are all the sunan. These are the sunan. If you don't do it exactly like this, or sometimes maybe you're late. Sometimes you came late for salah, especially if you're a man, or even if you're a woman, you're busy in the kitchen, Ramadan time, and now you got late. Now time is going to the makruh time. Then you just gargle once maybe, or you use the same water. Because there are a certain hadith that suggests also, we never go into this. I gave you the preferred method according to Hanafi madhab. And obviously the Hanafi's got the hadith, is it? وَالْمَحْكِيُ مِنْ وُضُوءِ. There are certain hadith that say sometimes the wisdom took little water, in 1 scoop of water, and he washed both the mouth and the nose 6 times in 1 scoop of water. There are certain hadith, 1 scoop of water 3 times in the mouth, one hadith, 1 scoop of water 3 times for the nose, and sometimes the other mazahib practice upon it. But what's our answer? Our answer is the Wisdom done is bayanan lil jawaz. He done it to show permissibility. Then there's another interesting thing here. We can remember this principle. It will help you a lot. In many of the places where you get, like, so to say, contradictory hadith, that here Nabi done something like this, he done like this. According to Hanafi madhab, this is a principle of usul al-ifta. When you do ifta, inshallah, al-ma'unatu ala qadri al-mashakka. Al-ma'unatu ala qadri al-mashakka. That reward is in relation to the amount of effort you make. Reward is in the amount of effort you expend. So by taking a separate water 3 times for the mouth, taking separate water 3 times for the mouth, you are expending more effort. What are you doing? So there's more effort. So that means there's more reward in that. So there'll be more reward in that. So that is, we say, we are practicing upon this when we don't have any clear-cut nas, or the texts are contradictory, etc. Then we practice upon this. You understood that? So this is now, I'll give you now the akli dalil. One is we have the naqli dalil, and the naqli dalil, why do this because logically there's more effort, and more effort obviously translates into more reward. The time is up. We'll stop there, inshallah. We will continue, inshallah, tomorrow. Last lesson for the day. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. ما لا تلاقي